And we're back! Today we're going to be taking care of all 3 of the level 3 guilds. This is the point at which the game decides to stop playing nice and instead goes marching around the hound, smashing on the pots and pans, saying, "I am so great, I am so great." Now it's actually possible to pick up the gold thief statue much earlier on in the game, but there's no point in carrying it about because you can't get to the guild until after you get to level 2 knight. We're just going to hop to this window right over here, and now we're going to fight the same boss we had to for the silver statue, only he has more life. Fortunately, you can't get into this room as the knight, you have to fight him off with the thief using the crowbar, which makes this fight incredibly tough as the crowbar has virtually no range to it. With the messed up hitbox of the crowbar, you're not really going to want to do the ducking attack like you do with everybody else. You're better off just standing there and using the straight on forward attack. Try using the duck attack in the sky, well, you're going to be sitting there forever trying to get the exact perfect distance in order to get it to register a hit on him. Now that he's gone, we can go claim our prize and hurry back up to the 3rd Thieves Guild. We're going to climb all the way back up to the top of the town to where we saw that flashing gatekeeper. This is where you need to use the boomerang axe in order to continue. The really funny thing is this is only a building or 2 over to the left of where the 2nd Thieves Guild is, but with the way the buildings are set up, you can't actually go from the 2nd to the 3rd one directly. You gotta go through this gatekeeper. The thing to know about this level 3 test is that it's a combination of the previous 2 tests, and in fact throws everything except the kitchen sink at you. You've got a lot of teleport doors, but on top of that you got a lot of daggers and arrows flying out from all over the place. Just like before, as long as you take your time and try not to rush through it, and just keep an eye out for the pattern of the teleporting doors, you can make it through just fine most of the way. If at this point you don't know to take the middle path, well, you really do deserve to fall into the spikes then. The gold thief is not all that much tougher than the silver thief. The only thing that really separates the two is the fact the gold thief has a lot more life, so this fight gets to be really, really tedious. Now, you probably don't want to sit here watching me take on this thief for another 5 minutes, so let's just skip ahead to the end of the fight. And now we've got the most ridiculous looking costume in the game. I mean, we're a thief that's running around with a huge ass key, and that's not telling everybody to not just lock the doors but bar them and set up guards as well? And what the hell are these people thinking? We can head back down to the sewers now, because now that we have the level 3 thief, we can actually get the other 2 level 3 costumes. This time we're going all the way down to the bottom into the purple zone. While it's no more dangerous than the green zone, this is where we're going to find all the level 3 stuff. And this little door right here, this is where we find the Guardian of the Gold Wizard statue. As you would expect, it's nothing more than another big worm. This guy is quite literally no different from the first worm we fought. In fact, he flies even in the same patterns. But tell me, what could possibly be more dangerous than just one worm? That's right, 2 worms back to back. Only this guy is tougher than the first one because he spits out bullets non-stop throughout the entire fight. Just take your time, don't stand on top of any of the craters, and keep an eye out for where he's moving around, and you shouldn't really have all that much difficulty with him. And with that, we've now taken care of the last worm in the game, so huzzah, huzzah! The easiest way to get to the level 3 Mage's Guild is just to hop to the floor of the cavern and use the thief costume to go through the secret passages. It's also a nice way to pick up a couple of extra life points while you're down there. The one thing to note about the Riches side quests if you're trying to get all 6 of the Riches is that 3 of them are hidden behind locked doors, so you have to have the level 3 Thief before you can finish the whole thing off. Not that I'm going to be completing the side quest for this game, because all you get out of it is a couple of extra points and some useless piece of advice. Now, despite the creators of the game saying that they wanted to build something that was non-linear, this game is anything but. In fact, for the most part, you do have to do everything in the exact same order every time. Thief, then Wizard, then Knight. Now, you can get the level 2 Wizard before you get the level 2 Thief, but there's really no point in doing so. You just gotta stick to the same procedure. Thief, Wizard, Knight, Thief, Wizard, Knight, Thief, Wizard, Knight. And welcome to the part of the game that's responsible for more projectile controllers and cartridges than anything else, the third Wizard's Test. So what is it that makes this test so incredibly hard? How about miniature platforms? If you thought the previous version of the test were pretty hard, this one you have to have pinpoint accuracy with jumping. There's quite literally no room for error. On top of it, if you do slip off one of the platforms, which will happen quite often, you've got practically no shot at safely landing on something below you and trying again. You're going to fall all the way to the bottom and get kicked out with 3 less life than before. Now that we've gotten to the top, you get to face up against the Gold Mage, which is a much more powered up version than any of the other previous mages. He has now added exploding orbs to his arsenal, shooting those along with the flying fish and his regular stabs. Well, this makes for a really tough and really hectic fight. You have absolutely no room to dodge up here, because if you get hit in the wrong spot, you're going to get knocked off. So the best thing really to do is just take advantage of your invincibility frames, just run up to him and keep stabbing him until he dies. So only one thing left to do at this point, and that's go out and get ourselves a level 3 Knight costume. So we're going to have a little bit of a fade cut here, so I can get rid of this crown from our inventory and free up the spot for something more important later on in the game. The levitation mechanic requires you to hold down the attack button as you're going up. If you let go, you'll start going down, but once you've got any sort of momentum going down, it becomes really hard to start going back up unless you land on something. The one badly coded thing about the levitation mechanics is that it's still subject to the same laws of slip and slide as regular walking is. So if you happen to bump into a slope that would cause you to slide down, well, now you know exactly what you're going to be doing for the next couple of seconds. This secret passage here takes us back to the very beginning of the game, so it's onward and upward and back to the castle. The tough part about the castle is the fact that it's so huge and there's so many doors and windows about they can hop into, they have absolutely no idea where it is you need to go. All that you really need to do is float straight up from the original entry door and you're going to get to exactly where it is you need to go. So through this yellow window we get to a little enclosed area you couldn't reach before, and in this door is where we're going to find the last of the Axe Knights. I'd love to say that this Axe Knight is tougher than the previous ones, but in all honesty he's not. The Boomerang Axe lets you make really short work of him. And now comes the really fun part, fighting the level 3 Knight's Guild, which is all the way at the top of the tower. Using the level 3 mage staff to float all the way up to the top is by far the quicker and easier way of doing it, but then you have to contend with a lot of enemies along the way. You got archers, spearmen, and even eagles that'll fly down at you. And while you're levitating, you're completely defenseless, so if you get hit once, you've got the potential of being knocked a very, very long distance back down to the ground. There's some places where you can also go inside a door and hop up a bunch of stairs and get to a higher part of the tower, which is great if you have the extra keys. But by and large, most of the time I'm just going to take the easy way up and float. Amazingly enough, they kept the eagle animations from Iron Sword, but with the blander color palette, the eagles don't look anywhere near as threatening or intimidating. Yep, I kinda expected that. Especially since I'm going the wrong way. It's going to take me a couple more seconds to realize that I need to head off to the left instead of going straight up. And here we are, we have finally found the level 3 Knights Guild. Much like the Thief test, the Knights Guild here combines the dangers from the previous 2 tests all into one. So you not only have to deal with spikes and flying boulders, but you also have to deal with the spike balls shooting out of the little indentations in the floors and the ceilings. With the Gold Knight, it's not just the increased life that makes him more dangerous. He's actually learned the new tactic of charging blindly at you until you've got barely any room to maneuver about. For the most part, it's just a matter of patience and timing and waiting for that second that you have available to jump in there and hit him a couple of times. And that marks the end of all the guild tests. The armor looks the same, but now we have a sword that's just as big as we are. The one thing about this sword, now we can shoot fireballs in any direction we can stab it. That's the end for this update, so I'll see you next time when we finally finish Wizards and Warriors 3. See you then.